The outgoing personality. That's the conversation we're going to have here today on Self Love Monday. How you guys doing? This is Ron Stemphi Myers, author, podcaster, and your uplifting life partner. This was a conversation I was having with a gentleman who's actually a teacher. He teaches like seventh and eighth graders. And he was talking about the fact that he has a hard time with certain students because he has the students that are friendly and talkative, and then he has the ones that kind of hide in the corner, really don't talk to anybody. And he said it's a struggle as far as them in class and everything else because of the interaction, lack of interaction skills. And he said, how do you help a person like that? He said, because it's a born trait. I mean, you have people that are outgoing and you have people that aren't. And he didn't believe it's something that you can teach. You either, one of those things, you're born with it or you're not. And I was sharing with him that I've gone to many events where people are shocked when they see me talking with a person who people perceive to be that quiet, introverted person that won't talk to anyone. And then I have that person over laughing or cracking jokes or they're just talking. And people are like, how did you, they don't talk to anybody. How did you get them to do that? And some of you have even experienced that where you've talked to people and they'll tell you, I can't believe I'm sharing this certain information with you because I don't share this with people. You know why? Our most significant thing, person, place, or thing in this world is us. People don't want to talk about it. People want because they feel like that's saying that you're self-absorbed, you're arrogant, and so people won't talk about that. But our favorite subject is ourselves, and what that means is when you let that person shine, which is themselves. If you can find something that they're interested in, that person that we call shy, that person we call introverted, actually now becomes that person that now you're like, whoa, can't get them to stop. They on a roll now. And that's usually comes down to, and that's what I was sharing to him. It's not an introverted, extroverted conversation. It has to do with how you feel about yourself. We're in a society, unfortunately, that most people's self esteem, the way they feel about themselves, is very, very low. And of course, as you guys know, that's all the stuff that I try to share and teach is to help you build that up. Where you learn to love the person in the mirror, you become very confident in who you are. And when you get to that level, that person that he's talking about, that introverted person, that person that it's not born in them, all of a sudden that particular skill starts to show up and people are shocked. And it's because it's in all of us. Most kids, and now there are kids that are kind of shy, but for the most part, most kids will go out and talk. That's what scares parents. That's why they teach them stay away from strangers because kids are usually very friendly and they're very easy to talk to and they will talk to everyone. And that's why when kids see each other, they'll run to each other and they'll play because naturally, I believe most people are very outgoing. But when we learn don't talk to strangers and it's implanted in us that strangers are a danger to us, then we kind of keep a distance. Remember, most people's personalities are created by the age of 5. So think about what you've been taught up to those early stages not to talk to people, not to interact. Stay away from people you don't know. Don't trust these people because the fact is they could do you harm. I remember, and bottom line is, and nobody ever told us that we could start talking to people now. We're adults. But I remember hearing a young lady have this conversation with her son. And this is a long time ago because I was actually managing at a store. And I heard her telling her son down the aisle, don't talk to strangers. If you ever feel that you're in danger, find a police officer and, our security, someone in the area with a badge or whatever, and then tell them so they can help you go find me or whoever the adult is that you're with. And I heard that and I was like, should I go say something? And I was like, ah. And I didn't. And so I was moving things around the store, and eventually we were out of carts at the front counter inside the store. And it was a busy day. And I was working at a pharmacy store. I won't put the name out there, but a big pharmacy outlet. And so I told the people at the front counter, I said, you guys keep working, because the cart person, I'm not sure where they were or if we had cart people that day, whatever. But bottom line is, I just told them I'm going to go run and get some carts real quick. So as I was going to get the carts, who's out there? The woman with her son. And I'm like, ah. And then I said, you know what? This is not a coincidence, because you guys know I don't believe in the coincidences. I believe things happen for a reason. So since I ended up right there where they are, I was like, okay, maybe it's meant for me to say something. So I said, ma'am, I wasn't trying to hear your conversation, and I said, but I did hear you tell your son about staying away from strangers and to look for security or police. And I understand what you were doing. And I said, but can I share some information with you? And she was like, yeah. And so I said, one thing is, and I forgot what the numbers were at the time or what they currently are, but the numbers were like over 80% or something like that of all crime against kids are by people that they know. So what does that mean? 4 out of 5 chances of your kid being harmed is by someone you guys know, someone they actually trust. It's not strangers. But we teach stay away from strangers. See, here's the key. Most of the time, if your kids are in an area where it's strangers, they're being watched. The adults that are with them or watching them or whatever, you're keeping an eye. So strangers are usually never going to be an issue. I mean, there's exceptions to all rules, but most of the time, strangers are not going to be the issue. It's going to be the people that you leave your kids with that you believe they're safe with, and that person, there's something wrong with them. By the way, if your kid acts nervous around certain people and they get scared every time you're getting ready to go around that person, and all of a sudden they feel like it's like they're being tormented and they've never told you anything, check. Kids are letting you know. And I'm talking about at young ages. If they're not communicating, but they act very strange when a certain person is around, different than they normally do, check that situation. There is a reason that your kid is scared. I remember we went through that with my nephew, and every time we would go to take him to the babysitter, he would really cry and go through real changes. And it's like, and we thought he really liked going over there, but every time he was going over there, it was just like he'd break out and cry and stuff. And eventually we found out that they were picking on him and kind of abusing him. And so we got him out of that situation immediately. But listen to the kids, because they're telling you, even if they don't come out and say it, because sometimes, as we know, predators will tell the kids, if you say something, I'm going to do harm to you, your family, or whatever, and it scares the kid. But watch their actions. They will tell you everything. Pay close attention. But anyway, so I shared that with her, that most of the time it's people that you know, people that you trust, that are the danger. And I said, and not only that, when you said about security, understand that the predators that you're talking about know that you taught your kids that. So there are some that will dress up like officers and prey on kids because they know they become an easy target now, because they can walk up to your kid with no problem if they happen to be standing anywhere by themselves and walk off with the security. Why? Because they've been taught to trust security. I remember doing a show once, and they were showing how some predators would get kids to go with them by telling them, I lost my dog, and can you help me find my dog? And so most kids went to go find the dog. And then one particular lady was watching, they had her kid in a room or whatever, and she was feeling proud and excited because the dog thing that the person tried didn't work. And so she's sitting there, you can see the smile like, yeah, my kid has been taught well. And then all of a sudden the person switched gears and said, you know what, I also lost my cat. Boom, her daughter was done. her daughter went with the guy. And it broke her heart because she just knew that she had taught her daughter well. So, bottom line on this one is I'm telling people it's not about teaching your kids the strangers and that type of stuff. You got to teach them situations. Like if someone were to touch them in certain places, it doesn't matter if it's mom, dad, cousin, brother, whoever, that's wrong. And it has to be reported. And come talk to you, no matter who it is, no matter what they tell you. So anyway, and I learned this through, there was some company, Dino, but it was like Dino, it was like a yellow dinosaur, and this is what their programs were, is to teach that. But the bottom line here is situations. Teaching your kids situations, teaching them to scream because of situations. Doesn't matter who it is. But anyway, I got off of what the topic was, but that conversation led me to that, so I wanted to share that while it's on my mind. But back to the strangers, this is part of the scare that parents have, and that's kind of how I got off on this, because you're scared that your kids may get put in a situation, so they've been taught to stay away from strangers, not to speak to strangers, and anyone they don't know is strangers. And again, they've never been taught it's okay. And one of the things I've shared with people, and they kind of chuckle when I say that, I said, I'm going to tell you, my mama used to be a stranger. And they'll start cracking up. I said, everyone in your life was a stranger at one time until you took the time to get to know them. That's really the point of this, is saying, it's okay. You're older now. You're an adult. It is okay to speak to people. But aside from that, overcoming that, because for most people, that's most of their issue right there, is they've never understood it's okay to talk to strangers. That becomes making a change. By the age of 5, most personalities are created, and most people stay that way their entire life. I know it's hard to believe, but you'll hear most people's lives are still been run by a 5-year-old. If they were quiet and didn't talk to strangers at the young age, they're still like that. If they were outgoing and talked to strangers, they're like that now. They're the people that's outgoing. If they were selfish as a little kid, they're selfish now. If they always look to help people, you guys follow me? By the first 5 years, it's kind of created. A person has to consciously make a decision to change. So they would have to consciously come to the conclusion that it's okay to talk to strangers and to start doing it. And most of that, again, is going to come from how you feel about yourself. And that's why everything I share and teach is to get people to learn to love the person in the mirror, to become very, very confident about who you are. And when you get a person very confident in who they are, the person we call an introvert, I'm not saying they go out and now start talk to everybody, but they're very, very confident, and you'll notice they're never intimidated to talk to people. And they can start conversations. Because for most people, that's what the issue usually is. It's not being able to talk to people. Is they're not comfortable starting conversations, which again is how you feel about yourself. They're not comfortable with that. And what I share with people, when you're starting conversations, start them with no intent. In other words, and this is something that I've had to learn, because this is where the personalities come into play. Remember we talked about the relationship person, where they're a person that's they're into relationships, just like it says. The action person, which is the go-getter, they're into everything. They never sitting still. That's my personality. And I remember watching my sister, because she's the relationship type person, and I was in awe of her because she has conversations with people, and it's genuine because she cares. And I had told her, I said, I have to get better at my people skills. And I say, because I just watch you, and it's impressive. And she's like, boy, please. She said, with the way you talk to people and the way you get out here. But what I had to share with her is I said, no, the A personalities, we will do whatever it takes to win. That's our drive. And we're all over the place. But here is the challenge. A lot of times our agenda and meeting you and talking to you is because we win, we benefit by befriending you. Either we got products for sale, or some organization we're trying to get you into. But what I'm saying, there's an ulterior motive for that friendship, and this is something you do have to understand. There is a difference there. The intent on why people want to talk to you. Now, we do need to be aware of that, and that doesn't mean be scared of people, but you have to be aware. There's a difference in being cautious and pessimistic. People that's pessimistic think everybody's out to get you. Cautious person being, my intent is at least up. I don't have a problem with talking to you, but at the same time, I'm going to be aware. It keeps you from getting burned. That's why you have to be aware also. But what I was telling her is the difference is my personality is the intent of befriending people for the gain that I'll get if they become my friend. You actually care. You're having a conversation because you care about them. You're asking them questions about them and their life, and you're really listening and you're inputting. Folks, that's the difference. What is your intent? Just being a person that can go out and speak and talk? That's not necessarily a good characteristic if your intent is always because I get something out of it. Let's care about people. That's really kind of what I'm saying here in this part is let's get to a point where we actually care about people. And that's why when I watched that, I was like, and hopefully I've gotten to that point. I might not be all the way there, you know what I'm saying? Because I do have that go-getter personality. It's like, but I'm hoping majority of the time that is my intent and my goal. That's what I'm always trying to shoot for. If I'm not successful at it, this is that becoming aware that we've talked about before, becoming aware of what your intent is, and then recognizing, okay, this is not about you. Get into relationships because it's about seeing what you can do for others. Because folks, you'll get more out of this world, more out of life, more out of relationships, more out of everything if you actually have no agenda and you're really caring about people because you really care about people. We've all heard the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Let people know you care. Folks, they become putty. That's why I said you'll have people that will share those comments that, I don't know why I'm sharing this information with you. I don't share this with anybody. The reason is, at least the way you came across, that your intent was you cared about them, you made them feel significant and important, and that's why they feel comfortable, and that's why they can open up. That's that creating a safe place that we say are the keys to a relationship is you got to have a safe place where your partner knows they can come and talk. It's the same thing. If you could create a safe place for people and they feel comfortable and safe, boom, they open up and they share the world to you. That person that supposedly is so quiet and won't talk to anybody opens up and shares the world. Because in most people's case, it's like finally someone who cares actually about me and is willing to listen to me, which is what? Our favorite subject. Again, I know people don't like to hear that and they think there's something wrong with it, but folks, there's nothing wrong with that. You should be your top priority. You are with you 24/7, 7 days a week, from the day you're born to the day you die. I don't care how much your family and friends love you. No one's going to spend that kind of time with you. So you should love you some you. And this is not, like I said, confidence and arrogance are different. Confidence is I love the person I see in the mirror and I'm looking out for that person, and I should be. The arrogance is when I look down on other people, and I'm never going to teach that, and I don't agree with that. I don't think you should have parts of that because I've heard people say nothing wrong with having a little arrogance. I don't agree. You should never be looking down on other people. You've made different decisions. Your life turns out different because you'll get different results. Those are the differences between people. Doesn't make you better. You just made different decisions. And then both parties, because there are people that lack material stuff, that's way, way happier than people that have all the material things. So again, what we call significant success depends on who you're talking to. So, but anyway, the bottom line of this conversation that we're having today is, and what I shared with him is, yes, it can be taught. There are people that, like I said, from the time they were young, they were outgoing, they talked to people, their parents didn't shut them down. So of course, they're going to continue to do that. But if their parents had to shut them down and stop them from doing that, which is where most people end up, then it becomes making an actual change as we get older and being able to open up and talk to other people. And again, for most of us, I shouldn't say most of us because I will talk. I'll talk. My dad teases me. He said, "Boy, you talk to everybody," and I do. But you just have to, again, approach people with no intent to actually care, and that's really what conversation's about them. And you give like your little input. But if you get good at feeding things back, and not where it becomes so obvious, like if a person, you ask a person, so where you from? They go, I'm from Chicago. Oh, so you from Chicago? You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, because people will teach you that that's how you should do it. And I'm like, eventually people catch on to that, and it's like, all you're doing is repeating back to me what I said. But the key is that is really kind of how you can hold a conversation, but you do want to expand. If you're saying you're from Chicago, you go, oh, yeah, I'm from LA. I've been there for da 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 da. So what is it about Chicago that you guys follow? See, now I can go back to Chicago, but if I just keep throwing it back, people go, this is a weird conversation, and that'll make people feel uncomfortable because it's like, you're just repeating back to me exactly what I said. But again, that does work better than not talking at all. But anyway, so that's the bottom line. Yes, it can be taught, and most of it's going to come down to feeling good about who you are, confident in who you are. Everything keeps coming back. You guys notice it always comes back to the same things. Getting you to learn to love the person in the mirror. And even in this case, it's the same thing. I get you to love you some you, confident in who you are. That person that everybody's calling introverted. I'm not saying you get to go run out and talk to people and everybody for no reason, like I will. I'm just, hey, what's up? I'm not saying that you're going to become that person or you even trying to become that person. But that not speaking to people and being, intimidated when you're around people until people talk to you, that will go away. You'll be very confident and it'll be very easy for you to talk to people. So anyway, as you guys know, it ain't right, it ain't wrong. It is my opinion. Run over and get the app, my new app, which is over at the Apple Store, Google Play. It's Simplified You. The letter U, not the word U, Simplified You. It's a free download. Check it out. And folks, as you guys know, if you're not having fun, you should be doing something else. Just talk to people. That's what this journey is really about. Talk to people, no intent, just have a conversation, actually care about people. That's what's going to make your conversations easier. It's just actually caring about people with no hidden agenda. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.